Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jazz, the Ever After Reader, and this is part 2 of my video review on Caraval. This part of the video is going to have spoilers. So if you haven't read or finished the first book, pause here and go back and just watch the first one. Okay, let's get started. So in this part of the review, I'm going to talk about all of the things I really enjoyed, some different thoughts I had about some of the characters, and yeah, this is going to be fun. So to start off with, this was a really fast-paced, exciting book. I know it's cliche to say, but I didn't want to put it down. It wasn't because it had all of these cliffhanger, intense breaks in the chapters. I feel like that's usually why I want to keep reading. I was able to come to a stopping point, wherever a chapter ended. But the story itself was just so engaging that I wanted to keep going. This really read like an adventure mystery kind of book, even though it was a fantasy, and I feel like fantasy is usually just more like you're on a journey or a quest. This one had the mystery element to it, and so that was really fun. Overall, though, this book was like a fever dream. It was wild. It felt very much like an Alice in Wonderland kind of experience. And it was a lot of fun. It was so unique. I don't think I've ever read a book quite like this. The world itself wasn't super built out. You just get like the house that Scarlet and Tella live in. So you don't even get the whole island of Trista that they're on. You don't even see what that is like. You get their little house, and then you get the world of Caraval, and that's where you start opening up and seeing things. And it was really cool that it was all following Scarlet pretty closely because she had never been to Caraval, and it was this dream that she had all the time. So she kind of gave you a little taste of what she imagined it to be. And then you as the reader got to go with her there and experience everything for the very first time. Stephanie Garber did that really well, of giving us that experience through Scarlet. And we mirrored that with her. Even though it wasn't from her perspective, right? It was a third person limited view. It felt like we were right there with her the whole time. I also liked that it seemed as though the whole world wasn't magical. It seemed like most of the world was pretty normal, but Caraval itself was just this one magical place, like this one point or this one little instance of magic, and that's what made it so special. I don't know, just some of the things that you could buy, it was so clever. It wasn't like, oh, you can buy this magic wand, oh, you can buy this potion. Everything was just a little bit amped up in the magical ability or characteristic that it had. I guess very dreamlike is how I would describe all of this. So the way that the book was written was it was broken up into the different nights of Caraval. So there were 5 nights, and every section of the book was a different night in relation to the game. So it was like one night before Caraval. So that was cool because it was really easy in that way, as a reader, to keep track of where you were in the game, because there's so much going on. There's so much that you're seeing that it's just really easy to get lost. And I think that's the point, right? The whole point of Caraval is that you as the player can get so lost. You forget that it's all supposed to look real. You forget that it's all supposed to draw you in and really engage you. And it was interesting because the book itself sort of acted like the game. Like, you as the reader were drawn in in that way. You got lost in this world and you were trying to figure out what reality was. I thought the mystery was really well done. I did not expect Tella to be the one behind everything, like that she was the mastermind. I thought Julian was Legend for a really long time. I was convinced that it was him. And then once Scarlet was like, wait a minute, I think he might be Legend, I was like, oh, no, I don't think it's him anymore. For a short time, I thought the Count was maybe like an actor. Like everybody ended up being somebody else. Like I had all these suspicions and nothing really panned out. And I definitely didn't suspect Tella. So that was a great mystery. It was literally like the last person that you would suspect. Although I have to say, I didn't really like Tella as a character. So the fact that she was not in the book very much was a positive for me because I found her kind of annoying. Although I'm guessing that in part 2, we're going to get to know her better. And that actually goes along with Julian. I was so relieved to find out that he was just an actor the whole time. Because he was so mean. He was such a jerk, and I didn't want Scarlet to end up with him. Like, Scarlet was so upset, like, oh, but I fell in love with this guy, and now I'm meeting him again, and it's like everything we went through wasn't real, and I don't even know the real him. And I was like, oh, thank goodness, though, because you deserve better than how he was acting. So I'm glad that like the mean parts were the character that he had to play, and that he actually like saw her character and saw her care for her sister and just her real heart and what mattered to her, drew him in and drew him out of that. It drew him out of that part that he was supposed to play. So we'll see who he is as a real person and what happens between the two of them. Also, it was neat that he did end up being Legend's brother, because that did explain a lot of some of the more mysterious things about him, like how he got like a free pass to come in the first night. The brother thing was just so much more satisfying of an answer than, oh, he's just an actor, so of course he knows that. The storyline of Legend kidnapping Tella and drawing Scarlet in through that kidnapping as a way of getting revenge, because the grandmother was this, was this old love who spurned him later. I'm so glad that that was not the plot, because that just would have been so lame. It seemed like this, like, just very excessive way to get back at her family. Like, she's dead, and now you're gonna go after her family. And I don't know, that part was weak, in my opinion, as a reason for like the whole plot, as like a jumping off point for the plot. So I was really glad that Scarlet was wrong about that suspicion, that was not at all what this was about. I was like feeling whiplash by the end. It was like, oh no, she thinks that Scarlet's going crazy. Oh no, well, like this back and forth and back and forth. And then Tella just like jumps off the building, and it was like, oh, okay. There was a lot going on. Maybe there could have been like a little bit less of that, but it worked. Just in the world that the author created, the whiplash stuff worked. And I felt frustrated in the moment. Can we please just figure this out? Is is how I was thinking. But I think that's the point. Obviously, Scarlett was feeling that way more than we were. So, could there have been a little bit less of all of that? Yes. Did it work? Yes. On that note, it sort of felt like the book itself was a game. So they keep reminding Scarlett, but it's kind of reminding you, the reader, too, that it's all a game, right? Like right on the cover, remember, it's only a game. I started thinking, okay, I think pretty much everything I read is going to be part of the game. And it's just messing with me. Like the book is messing with you in the way that the magic of Caraval is messing with the minds of the participants. So that was a very seamless way to give you, the reader, the experience that all of the characters are going through. One thought I did have about the Dragna sisters is that it's very Sense and Sensibility, like the Jane Austen book. Scarlett is obviously like Eleanor, right? The sense one. You're sensible, you have all these rules, you believe life is supposed to go in this proper order, there's a proper way to do things, and you're gonna like suppress a lot of your emotions, your feelings, for the sake of doing the proper thing. Scarlett was very much in line with Eleanor Dashwood in that way. And Tella was so obviously a Marianne. It just fit like so spot on, Marianne being the sensibility, the very like feelings, and these really high highs and these very low lows, and everything is about kind of being in the moment and seizing the moment and doing things according to your feelings, as opposed to what people expect from you or what society is trying to box you into. That was just brilliant. It was so well done, using those kind of archetypes in this story, but it wasn't so obvious that it was like, oh yeah, she's like rewriting Sense and Sensibility. Another character that I really enjoyed, who was a side character, was the like recorder of the events. I don't know how to pronounce her name. It's like Aika. That's the only way I can think of saying it. Aika. Let me know if I'm getting that wrong. But she was a really fun character, just like kind of popping in out of nowhere and then giving this advice, or just throwing out a couple of comments here and there to Scarlett and giving her some hints. I really like her. I hope she comes up again in the next one. Yeah, this was a really fun one. I am so glad that I was convinced to read this book, and I'll be reading the next ones pretty soon. I'm like waiting for them to come in the mail. Well, as always, I would love to hear your thoughts. If you've read this, which characters did you like? What parts were really surprising? Any thoughts, just put them down below, and I'd love to talk about them. Maybe if I get enough like interaction or questions or whatever, I can maybe make another video. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, I'm excited to read more and share more of my thoughts with you guys. So I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye.